Hello, 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 and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle live stream happening on Thursday. Now, it's normally 3 o'clock, but I've been playing around with the times, and I have an excuse for why I've changed the time this week. And that reason is because I wanted to go to Tony Robbins' 3-day summit that he's doing called Time to Rise Summit. And it's an exciting time of the year because we just had the new moon last yesterday, new moon in Aquarius. It's also the Chinese New Year, which is the year of the snake. And let me get you that. But before I get into all of that, I want to share some notes that I took from Tony's event today. Um, and I also want to let you know that since I am streaming live, you can watch, when you watch this, you can put your comments on the screen, whether you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube, and I can put them on the screen, respond to them, etc. So, like I said, Tony Robbins has his um, Time to Rise Summit. The first one I think he did was the year of 2020 when we had COVID. And I think I've been attending every year. Now, it is a little bit similar every year, but it's such a good reminder. Now, I've never been to his signature event, which is the UPW or, what is it? No, I knew I'd blank out on it. UPW. What is it? Gosh, now I'm blanking. Um, Unleash your power. That's no, unleash UPW. Unleash the power within. That's what it is. Unleash the power within. So to promote that, I think what he does is have these free summits, and it's a 3-day summit. It's for 2 hours each. No, 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours each day, 2 to 5 Eastern time. And even if you miss this first day, you can still go to this website and sign up and watch the replays. He also has the opportunity to give feedback on Facebook. He has prizes and all kinds of things. But some of what I wanted to share was he was talking about how the next 2 to 5 years that there are going to be big changes, right? We know this, it's been happening. And he talked a little bit about 3 core skills that we need. The first one is pattern recognition, meaning that we recognize the patterns because, if we don't recognize a pattern, all we see is chaos. And so when we see a pattern, then when we have chaos, when there's just chaos and all we see is chaos, we're in fear, and it's fear of the unknown. So when we see a pattern, that helps us not to be fearful because we see a pattern. And what he talks about is that life has several different seasons. There's springtime with growth. There's the summertime where it's a little harder because things are growing, but you're not yet harvesting and it's hot. Then there's the fall, which is a time of abundance and reaping what we sow in the springtime, actually. And then there's the winter time where everything is dormant. We've already reaped what we've sown and we're kind of getting ready for the next cycle, but winters tend to be the difficult times. So his point is that winter doesn't last forever, that springtime is coming, and it's always darkest before the dawn. So he talked also about, so that's the first thing, is to recognize the pattern that we're in. The second is pattern utilization, so that when we know what the pattern is, we can utilize it. We can strategize around that pattern. And then the third core skill is pattern creation, so that we become masterful during each of these different seasons. One big thing that stuck out to me was that he says we experience the life that we focus on, which I talk about all the time with the law of attraction. What we focus on, we create. And he says that we master our life by the emotions we live in. And that's really the whole premise of Good Vibes TV, the Good Vibes lifestyle, raise your vibe and thrive. So if we're living in the emotions of the positive emotions, basically of love, appreciation, gratitude, love, sharing, all the positive vibrations, all the positive emotions. If we're living in that space, we are creating our world. So I wanted to share that with you because it's such a gift, really, from Tony um, to share with everyone. And he actually had, I don't know, it was over 1 million people watching this first day, which I thought was very cool. So let's see. Next, I want to talk about the year of the snake. So yesterday was the full moon, excuse me, the new moon. And whenever the lunar cycle usually, the Chinese New Year lunar cycle usually starts with the new moon. That's the beginning of the new year. So it's year of the snake. And year of the snake has to do with shedding the old skin. Just like snakes transform themselves by shedding the old skin, we this is a great time to shed the skin, um, our old ways, taking off the old clothing, our old story. And actually, Tony was talking about what's your old story and what's your new story, and so it's perfectly in alignment with this new year of the snake, the wood snake, actually, which is a little bit different. Uh, and the last time I think there was a year of the wood snake, it was in 1965. So each Chinese astrological year is different. There's a different energy to it. And so we're talking about energy and using different modalities to kind of understand what the different energies are so we can recognize those patterns and then master them. And this is how we create our life. This is how we have mastery. So I just wanted to share some things about the wood snake. It's all about transformation, introspection, and growth. The wood element introduces the qualities of flexibility, creativity, and diplomacy. The wood snake symbolizes wisdom, intuition, and strategic thinking. So I actually found a really cool meditation you could do. I'm going to put this on the screen here. It's a year of the snake meditation, about 13 minutes long. Just go to this tinyurl.com/, capital GVTV, snake meditation. And this will help you kind of tune into the new Chinese New Year. So it's a time of creativity and strategic planning. So again, Tony's summit is so perfect to have this summit to do strategic planning. Uh, uh, the year of the snake has to do with personal transformation and encouraging individuals to adapt and grow in various aspects of life. The other thing that's coming up, which is why this is such a powerful time, is this Saturday on February 1st is Imbolc, a pagan Wiccan festival, which is they Christianize it and it's called St. Bridget's Day on February 1st. And Imbolc actually means in the womb, in the belly, rather. And this is when the sheep would be impregnated and start growing uh, growing the lambs inside, and also the time when the the milk would start growing in the sheep. Um, so this has to do, Imbolc has to do with purification. Again, like the Chinese New Year of shedding the old skin with the wood snake, this is a time of purification, cleaning out the old and getting ready for the new. Uh, Imbolc also is actually the beginning of spring, and it's halfway between the winter solstice, which was December 21st, and the spring equinox, which is in March. So this halfway point is celebrated, especially by the pagans, because they were very in tune with nature, and we've kind of lost that. That's why I really love the earth religions, because if we play with the wheel of the year, we can kind of tune into what's going on with Mother Nature, and if we recognize that pattern and master that pattern, then we can master our lives. So, what else did I want to share with that? So, Bridget, she is a goddess. They made her into Saint Bridget with the Catholic Church, but she's the goddess of inspiration, creativity, healing, and craftsmanship. So, and you can Google online different Imbolc rituals or meditations and learn more if you want to incorporate that into your life. All right, so let's get into the astrology. And like I said, we just had a new moon yesterday at 7:30 in the sign of Aquarius, and we are in the waxing phase of the moon because we're going from the new moon to the full moon. And the full moon, so mark your calendars, will be on February 12th in the sign of Leo. And I'll talk more about that next week as we get a little closer to it. So I just thought it was very interesting how all of these different um, celebrations of the new moon, the Chinese New Year, Imbolc, all are related to the same kind of thing. So this is a perfect time to shed the old skin, uh, shed your old story, and create the new story. So this is perfect timing to do that kind of strategic planning for the rest of the year. And I want to also share now a topic I've been following and wanting to and studying and wanting to share with you, which is the UFO UAP disclosure. There's been a lot happening this last week, and I wanted to share some links with you so you can kind of be in tune with what's been going on. So on News Nation, Russ Coulthart interviewed Jake Barber, and 2 Saturdays ago had his edited down show. Well, he released the full interview with Jake Barber, and here's the tiny URL on the screen. I'll also put it in the show description. And Jake Barber is ex-military. He's starting his own company now. He's had several different companies, but this new company is called Skywatcher. And what he talked about in this, it's a 2 hour and 47-minute full interview. But if you watch it, you get the whole picture of where he's coming from. And what was very interesting is, and the kind of the connection to the metaphysical and good vibes and what I'm doing here on this program, is that he talks about the psionic connection. So the military has been, you may have heard about the remote viewers that we've had, that the government, CIA, have had these remote viewers basically to spy psychically on other places and get information and things like that. Well, they have also been using these they don't then call it, instead of calling them psychic, they call them psionic. They had to make a new word so it sounds more maybe military or whatever. So these psionic people, they go into a place of meditation, and they actually call the UFOs, the ETs, to come down so they can interact with them. Well, what the military has been doing, and part of what this disclosure that's been coming out from the military people, is that then they call them and then they shoot them down because the military wants to grab not just the ETs, but the technology so they can weaponize the technology. And this is what Dr. Stephen Greer has revealed for the last 30 years. Many whistleblowers have been coming out about this because it's just wrong. And so we're in this whole process of disclosure. So it's just very, very interesting what's been going on. And I've been wanting to share it with you so that you can do your own investigation. That's why I'm providing these links. Now, so Jake Barber, with his team of people that are coming out, actually created a business called Skywatcher. And so they actually have a YouTube channel now, and you can see the link on the screen, tinyurl.com/capital GVTV Skywatcher. They also have a website, and that's skywatcher.ai. And really, there's really not much on the website because this is like brand new. They only created the website, I think, just a few weeks ago, maybe even just a week ago. And so here is a description of what Skywatcher is all about. They provide advanced aerial intelligence and protection systems. And they're founded by former military and intelligence professionals. So basically, they're out to prove the existence of these ET crafts, and the whole process of summoning them. Now, he's not there to shoot them down. He's there to document them with cameras and this kind of thing. And they're using top-notch equipment because basically, he says in the show, He's not waiting for the government because there's another effort through the Citizens of Disclosure and for disclosure and the New Paradigm Institute. They're trying to get at disclosure from a government perspective, from getting the government to get a hold of these rogue programs that have been doing this and kind of get it under the constitutional government, because they're not, these are unconstitutional programs that are just, you know, they're working with defense contractors like Raytheon and Skunk Works and Boeing. I don't know if it's Boeing, maybe not Boeing, but Raytheon, and those defense contractors who are getting this or are being paid by the government to get this technology, and then they weaponize this technology. They use them for weapons instead of using this technology for the good, for the people, for the planet. And Dr. Stephen Greer has been talking about this for a long, long time. So so that's been really interesting. And then the next day, Russ Coulthart came out with an hour-long Q&A show. And here is the tiny URL for that. It's capital GVTV Ross QA with the tiny URL part in front of there. So I will have that in the show description as well. So in this, I found it very interesting. In that Q&A session, it was really great information, because Russ Coulthart is former lawyer and also an investigative journalist. He's from Australia, and he has a show podcast on News Nation. So he broke the story, I guess, and he's been following, doing many, many shows and really following this whole story of UFO disclosure. So these whistleblowers are coming out through that particular medium, and now they have Skywatcher, which I told you about. So in there, Ross, on this particular show, Ross actually challenged the president to disclose about the UFOs, like he promised during the campaign trail, and he challenged Trump 3 times in the show. So I thought that was very interesting, because it's this is all happening. Like I said, all this information happened since last week's show. So I've been super busy with this information. Now, also, Dr. Stephen Greer has his podcast, and he came out with his 4th podcast. And in this particular podcast, he was talking about, because he created the CE5 protocol, which is an app I've talked about that's on your phone. You just go to CE5 in your Play Store app on your phone, whether you have Android or Apple. And I think it's $9.95, $9.99, something like that. And it's a meditation app where it teaches you how to call the UFOs so that we can be ambassadors, citizen ambassadors, to communicate directly with UFOs, because we don't, the people, we don't have the agenda that the military government does. And he was saying how CE5 protocol and the psionic protocol that the military are using are 180 degrees opposite. They are 2 different things, because in Stephen Greer's CE5 protocol, he has a clause in there that says, or a disclaimer that says, ask the ET to come as long as it's safe for them, because there have been situations where Stephen Greer has had a CE5 meditation going, and the military have been were watching, and they tried, they showed up with their, man-made craft or whatever, or weapons to attack the ETs, and then the ETs disappear. So Dr. Stephen Greer is very protective. He's not wanting. He's a doctor. He's an MD. So his Hippocratic oath is do no harm. So he's not there to harm the ETs, and neither is Jake Barber. He's just coming out. But where he's coming out from with the military, they're the ones that have the intention to see them. I guess see the ETs as not star family like Native Americans see them, but sees them as, I don't know, I guess the enemy, like Independence Day and this kind of thing. So all of this is so interesting. And also, I want to share Dr. Stephen Greer has a whole archive of his 34 years of study that's free. Just go to dpiarchive.com. It stands for Disclosure Project Initiative, I think. I'm not sure if the I is for initiative or something else, but you can go there and check out all of his data because it's all there from all the over 750 whistleblowers that have come to him that gave him information. He's talked to more of them over these last 34 years. Okay, so now, next, let's talk about Citizens for Disclosure, which is the citizens activist group part of the New Paradigm Institute. And here's the link for the New Paradigm Institute. So the New Paradigm Institute had a Zoom this past Sunday for their volunteers. And if you do want to be part of that and just get on their e-newsletter, just go to the website. You can put your email in there. You'll get their weekly newsletter from Danny Sheehan. He's approaching all of this from the legislative aspect. And I actually have let's see, the screen here. Okay, let me make it a little bigger. Take that off. So I asked in the Zoom, I asked Danny Sheehan, they had, opportunity to ask questions, what does disclosure mean? Is disclosure meaning the mothership showing up and revealing itself? Or is disclosure, just these whistleblowers coming out at random? Or is it something else? And Danny Sheehan was very clear that disclosure, their definition of disclosure from the New Paradigm Institute is the 64-page document that the Disclosure Act, UAP Disclosure Act, that Senator Schumer and Representative Michael Rounds have put out, and I have it here on the screen. They actually amended it, and because I don't know if it was this past December or the December prior, the part that protected the whistleblowers was taken out. And that was taken out because some of these Congress people are on the payroll or they're being paid by the lobbyists of the defense contractors, wherever they're representing their defense contractors there, and they've been funding their campaign, so they have loyalty to the defense contractors, and that's why that part was taken out. So the other thing was full disclosure in this legislation was supposed to happen last October, but they didn't do it, and they pushed it back to now September. All of the UAP documents that the government has are supposed to be sent to the National Archive so that there's true disclosure. And so you can go to the website, and it's under Learn, and then you could learn about all of this particular document, the 64-page document. That's the legislation that talks about creating a 9-person review board because they don't want to disclose things that are that have to do with national security, but they do want things disclosed that are truthful. So anyway, there's that. Resource for you to check out. Okay, and Citizens for Disclosure, New Paradigm Institute also has different actions. You can go to their website and do it, or I've made this tiny URL. The latest action to take, if you're interested and you don't have to be a member of Citizens for Disclosure to take this action, it's writing the White House demanding that Trump disclose the UFOs like he promised to, just like he disclosed the MLK and JFK files that he promised. Those, he did the executive order for that. We're still waiting on the executive order for UFO disclosure from the president to get the ball rolling. So it's interesting because Jake Barber and the Skywatcher Group and Russ Coulthart, they're kind of bypassing the government. But in the meantime, the proper way of disclosure is being pushed by the New Paradigm Institute and Danny Sheehan. And Danny Sheehan was the lawyer that was behind the whole Contra Iran say debacle or controversy, not controversy, but whole contra, sorry, Iran Contra conspiracy or not conspiracy. I don't know. You know what I mean? That they investigated and they found Oliver North guilty, and I'm going by memory, but that whole thing, he was behind that to get that disclosed because it was just wrong. So if you do want to volunteer and be part of kind of in the know of the legislative part, and it's always great, I think, when we know when we have actions we can take instead of just saying, oh my gosh, all this is happening, and what can I do? Well, what you can do is email the president right now. Go to this tinyurl.com/capital GVTV, email capital WH. So that's what you can do besides watching, educating yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go to these sites, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. I think that we're in the age of Aquarius. More and more of this is going to be coming out, and the ETs, are wanting to be revealed. We're just, we're as a planet, our paradigm is shifting. Our belief system is shifting. We're no longer just a global Earth and that's it, just humanity, the human race. There are many, many other races. There's more stuff happening that we're aware of, and it's time for us to open our eyes, be aware of this, and, again, Tony Robbins' pattern recognition, and knowing what these patterns are so we can master them. Okay. And the last thing is, if you want to see the first episode I did on UFOs, my interview with Craig Richards, just go to this website, this tiny URL, and by Sunday, the next episode should be ready to be watched or uploaded to YouTube, and that will basically be the same URL, but with UFO 2 on it. So you can watch that on Sunday. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments so I can address them. If you have any feedback on this, I mean, am I going down a path that you are not comfortable with or feel like it's not in sync with the whole good vibes movement? Let me know. I'm curious to know what you think. I feel that this is important because the mainstream media doesn't even touch this. And, we want to make sure we have the correct information. And so I'm doing my best to find what's the accurate information to share with you so that you can be aware. And so that disclosure and understanding these things will be, as we talk about these things, it becomes more and more part of our consciousness, of our awareness. And I think it's just super important as we evolve as a human race. So let's get into our psychic spiritual part with the Oracle of the Month. Now, every month I love to feature a certain deck, and this month's deck, and this is the last time that I'll be featuring the Soul Coaching Oracle by Denise Linn. And I've actually really enjoyed working with these cards. I wasn't crazy about them to begin with, but I've been working with them outside of the show. So let's ask Spirit for a message for the highest and best good, what we need to know right now, whether you're watching now live or watching on the replay. See what resonates with you. And if it does resonate, great. If it doesn't, just, take it or leave it, whatever works for you. Okay, so card I am picking. Oh, this is interesting. Let me shift the camera here so I can show you the card. So the card, oops, I had two. The card is Beauty. So let me read about this card, Beauty. Card number 6 in her deck. Each of these oracle decks, have a little booklet that you can read. So it's always great to look at the card, meditate on it, see what kind of imagery, what message you get from the card directly, and then read, about the card, what the intention was, and see what meaning resonates with you. Okay, Beauty. So you're beautiful inside and out. Your sacred inner and outer space are radiant and glorious. No matter what your age, your loveliness is growing. Create outer harmony in your home environment, even in small ways, such as a vase of flowers, a scented candle, or clean windows. And your inner grace will glow. Because, yes, our environment is a reflection of our inner environment, and vice versa. Our outer environment impacts our inner environment. So they kind of go hand in hand. And that's what feng shui is about, right? Changing things in our environment changes things energetically within us. Your soul wants you to know the more you see beauty around you, in your environment, yourself, and your body, the more it will fill your life in all forms. Be hesitant to say anything about yourself or your body that's negative. Don't put yourself down silently or to others. Instead, affirm beauty and take time to adorn your body and personal space. Take a luxurious bath, read a book, have a massage, or create a home altar. Cherish yourself, and the luminescence within you and around you will glow. And the affirmation is I am deeply and profoundly beautiful. So that's interesting. I think it really relates to what we were talking about Imbolc. With Imbolc, you can create an altar celebrating the season of purification, of the beginning of spring. And my tip of the week to raise your vibration ties into this, and I will share that with you. I always, in the past, I always felt that, what's the point of beauty? It's, in art, um, but what I've come to understand is when we see the beauty in our lives, whether it's inside or without, it raises our vibration. When we see beauty, beauty is a good vibe. It's a higher vibration. It's a vibration, kind of an example of love. So, beauty is something to be acknowledged and brought out and amplified because as we do that, we raise our vibration. So, I think that's pretty interesting. Now, I do want to share that two cards came out, and I'm just going to go ahead and share this other card. The other card was commitment. So, because this was underneath the beauty one, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. I know I apologize for this making the show a little bit longer, but I feel led to do it. So, commitment. Here is the meaning for the card of commitment. This is the time to make the commitment. So stand tall. Don't hesitate and give your word. Keep your promise, and your word becomes law in your universe. Your soul wants you to know making a commitment is taking a stand. It's declaring to yourself and the universe that you're unwilling to settle for less than excellence. It means that you keep your word, especially to yourself. Fear of doing this because you might fail sends a message to your subconscious mind that you are a failure. Of course, there's always the possibility that you might not succeed, but to hesitate because of fear instead of forging forward keeps joy and freedom at bay. So decide now. Any decision is better than none at all. The most important promises that you make are to yourself. Forgive yourself when you don't honor your word, and then, without shame, recommit yourself with passion and gusto. The affirmation is my commitments increase my joy and freedom. So, yeah, there's a book by Florence Scovel Shinn that talks about your word is your wand. And it is so important that what we say is to see it as law, because, you know, what does the Bible say about the, the basically that God spoke the universe into existence by the word. So our words is how we create, right? Words or our thoughts kind of manifest, kind of um, created. And when you write down, things, you're making it even more concrete and physical. So I think that's pretty interesting. And yeah, so check it out. Now, if you like this deck, All you have to do is go to my Amazon store and you can get it there. And the way you get there is just go to good-vibes.tv, which is my website. And so I really love those cards. Those are really cool. All right. Next on the list here is I love to share, just like I shared Tony Robbins' event, any events that are coming up that I think would be of useful to people. This next one is this Saturday, also on Imbolc, is a 2025 Peace Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart. She wrote the book, The Power of Intention. Basically, when you have 8 people together, really it's meant like a mastermind. You, it's what, synergy. It's the it's when you have a group of people, the sum is greater. Now I'm forgetting the phrase. Um, you have the impact greater than just the sum of its parts. And I think that's the definition of synergy is. So on February 1st at 1 o'clock, the Peace Intention Experiment is happening across the world. And she's partnering with the network Gaia. And so all you have to do to sign up for that is go to gaia.com/peace/peace. If I could talk right today, and you can get on there. So, this when we come together as groups, and the Age of Aquarius is all about groups. It's about eccentricity and the unique individual, but it's also about coming together as communities. When we do this, we, the people, are taking back our power and creating positive change in the world. I mean, we can create negative change too, but the intention in the metaphysical world is using the energy that we bring together in thought and intention to create a better world. So this is an opportunity to do that, and there's the website for that. And lastly, I want to share with you there is another Longevity with Light webinar that I'll be hosting in February. It will be, oh gosh, I didn't put the date on there. I think it's February 13th. It's let me see here. It is, find the right date. Just want to make sure it's like the second Thursday. It'll be at 8 o'clock at night, like this is. Yeah, February 13th at 8 o'clock will be the next Longevity with Light webinar. And I have different speakers talking about a special technology that uses light to create stem cells in the body. It's basically anti-aging so that we can restore our bodies using the energy of light. Now, if you, we had one in let's see, January. And if you want to see that one, if you want to watch the replay, there's the URL for that. But if you want to watch the one coming up on February 13th, it's there's a tiny URL that you can sign up. And if you can't wait and you want to talk about these patches, all you have to do is text the word patch to 727-423-1224, and I will get back with you and share about you know, these beautiful patches and using light to activate the stem cells in our body. There's so much physical benefit. I've been on it now 2 months and I'm seeing some difference. So I'm excited to share more about it. And actually next weekend I'll be going to a special training on it. So I'll have more to share with you. All right. So now we are ready to talk about our tip of the week to raise our vibration. And last week's tip was to trace the infinity sign around your eyes. Now, some people feel like you have to touch your skin to do this, and it actually stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps us to use our parasympathetic system, our nervous system, calms us down basically. But from Donna Eden, who created this, she says you just have to trace it. So I think energetically doing like this. So I would try both and see which works for you better. But by doing this, it helps calm your body, which raises your vibration. So this week's tip is to take a meditative walk in nature. And as you're doing this meditative walk with Imbolc being here, the beginning of spring, look for signs of spring in nature as you're doing this. When we're natural beings, we're part of Mother Earth, we're children of Mother Earth. And so when, we're in in front of these devices, our computers, our phones, you know, so much that it affects us. The EMFs and all that do affect us. And so it's so important to reconnect with nature. So this week's, a lot of times I talk about grounding and hugging trees or standing, but you could walk through nature. And the walking part is also good because physical activity is really important to build our energy within our body. And watching Tony's event today, that was another reminder. He's so much into, you know, the movement of the body, standing up, um, you know, um, moving our body, because this is how we create energy in our body. And we need the energy to be able to be powerful in our lives and create change. So that is the tip for the week. And I do want to share that we're still doing I'm encouraging people to still on Sundays at 2 o'clock Eastern Time to do a 15-minute meditation, sending love to the planet. And I like to use the Heart Math Institute's free app. It's called Global Coherence. And we started this during the National Good Vibes Day Summit this past October. And if you want to be part of that summit group, when you go to and download the app and it says join groups, put this code in Orange Fire 66. The O and the F are capitalized. And then that way we can measure as a group what kind of impact we're having on the coherence of the planet. So I'm still encouraging that. And I've kind of dovetailed with Pam Gregory, the astrologer. She has been encouraging the 2 o'clock time frame to do this meditation. And so anyway, I figured, well, since a lot of people are doing it, then the more the merrier. The more, people doing it, the better the impact, or more impactful the impact. So that is all I have for you guys today. I know it was a lot, but there's lots going on. So I hope you got some um, value out of this show. And if you have, I just want to remind you to raise your vibe so you can thrive. And, if you got value from the show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is the best way to say thank you and to give me feedback and to help help me get this message out there. You can share these programs, these live streams with your friends, whether you watch it on Facebook or YouTube, whatever works for you. I appreciate it because, I can't do this alone, but I'm doing my part. I'm doing the part that I am inspired to do. And I hope that I can inspire you to do your part, whatever you feel that is, whatever your calling is, whatever your heart is telling you to do. Be in your power. Express your creativity this new Imbolc season, this new year of the snake. Transform your life. You have the power, and this is how we can create change in our lives and in the world. So thank you so much for watching, and bless you all. And thank you so much for watching. And I will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Peace out.